Kilpailussa mukana Ramirent. Kotikatsomon eväät tarjoaa Kotipizza.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the fourth stop of the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour. We are here in Kuopio, Finland, for the Round 1 Front 9 MPO. This coverage is brought to you by Natural Born Disc Golfer. Thank you guys for sharing your coverage with us here at Gatekeeper Media. And this commentary is brought to you by Parked Podcast. My name is Mitch Phillips. Joining me is Hayden Riccard. How are you, brother?
Doing great. Into the last stop that is we've got here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it. Luukas Rokkanen, familiar face, absolutely crushed it at Turku.
Yeah, it's exciting to see him play. That's why I love to see him do the forehands and he's overall great player.
Yep. Jumping into Lauri Lehtinen as well, familiar face, a new face, Arttu Räsänen. Excited to see how he's going to attack there. And also Hänninen, sponsored by Prodigy Disc, showing off the skills with a little tapper.
This course, is a little bit different.
Yeah, we're kind of on what seems to be an older ball golf course, but it gets really technical. But let's check in with the tour top 10. Väinö Mäkelä, Lauri Lehtinen, Seppo, Niklas Anttila. A lot of players still in attack as we jump into the second half of this tour. There is another stop after this. Unfortunately, we don't have coverage of it, so this will be the final one here. But let's jump into hole 1, par 4, 709 feet. Very open shot, but out of bounds, definitely coming in tight.
Do you want to repeat that again? OB is
everywhere on this course. Yeah, especially right near the basket here. If you try to attack on your second shot, get yourself close, you're very difficultly going to be able to find this out of bounds sand trap on the left.
I feel like this is what you see in the Americas and all these ball golf courses. You got OB everywhere.
Yeah, without
because you have to.
Right.
Ensimmäisenä heittovuoroon tulee Prodigy Discia, Power Grippiä ja Talin tallajia edustava Samuel Hänninen.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Samuel so far on the coverage here in the tour, and consistently at the top, known for his distance for sure. Beautiful hyzer flip up, just trying to bite off as much as you can, make that approach quite short. So it's a long approach, that out of bounds get bigger and bigger. That sand trap to the left.
And we got Lauri here, and he's going to try to match and just put it in the center cut of fairway so he can have an option to either go hyzer or even the forehand.
Yeah, and only at 709 feet, really able to attack here, but at the same time, you don't need to. Splitting it into 300-plus foot shots puts you close.
Makes it easier on yourself, and this needs to get down a little bit. Yeah, it's perfect.
Kolmantena heittovuoroon tulee Prodigia, Vivo Barefoottia sekä Woodpeckers Disc Clubia edustava Luukas Rokkanen.
Yeah, Luukas Rokkanen.
Known for the distance.
Yes, tore it up in Turku, and just looking forward to see what he can do.
A little bit of slip there in the front foot.
This looks like it has a lot of turn, but could get a lot of distance. Oh, no.
And he's got onto right behind the only tree on that right side that you needed to kind of avoid.
Only tree in the fairway.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough step out from there.
Yeah,
and interesting where he's going to lay up to.
For sure.
If he's going to go to the basket and try to get as close as he can, or if he's going to lay it short and just play for the par.
Yeah, our first look here at Arttu Räsänen. A big, wide last step. Pulls over just a little bit. Thankfully, doesn't cut roll into the out of bounds. You see those flags moving in the distance. The wind is definitely going to play a factor with, you're on a ball golf course. They use this property so well, as we're going to see. They're getting after it. The music hyping up as they walk onto their tee shots.
Arttu looks to be going for it. Needs to sit. Oh, it just skips right into the hazard. It's a good thing he's right next to the basket for the hazard, so, not a fun putt, but can be done.
Yeah, the footing may be a little bit weird there in the sand, but, I mean, you're inside the circle. That should be a putt that these players are going to be able to put home. And as you predicted, Lauri going to the forehand, kind of avoiding the hazard as we just saw R2 find.
And he goes into
catches
it
the edge. That was skipping towards the basket, but just barely caught the edge of it, falling into it. Even on the forehand, nothing is safe going into this green.
Yeah, the big hyzer here is if you're on that size to play, kind of skip up there, but you don't want too much skip. You want it to lead over that OB a little bit longer than coming in hot. And Luukas is definitely stuck behind this tree.
Furthest drive of the group, but man, this is maybe even a forehand roller to try to not fade into the out of bounds, but this has got to get down. Yeah, I never really had a chance there.
The way his stance was,
yeah,
he'd have to throw such a flex line.
And already leaning on that right leg, all the weight on it. You know, it's very difficult to be able to turn a disc over. So he's going to have this for bogey. Excuse me, for par.
Oh, and almost does it. I mean, that was easily 100.
Yeah, close to it for sure. I mean, to already feel dialed from that distance, what a weapon. Excited to see how that's going to continue for Rokkanen.
And Sam Will. For the birdie. That's a great birdie to pick up on the card.
Yeah, when you have the rest of your card sitting in the hazard.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, thankfully these putts from hazard are close, but still, I mean, it's a little bit of a death putt. I mean, you're falling away. Your footing is kind of awkward, and the out of bounds is right there. If you miss, the roll away definitely comes into play.
Just putting it, don't roll back into there.
But what did we just say? The roll away definitely a factor.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, it doesn't roll back into the hazard. That would have been a worst case. But he does roll to circle's edge.
And making it another test putt.
Yeah, in that 30-foot range. Walking up to this putt originally, Lauri maybe not feeling the nerves, but after seeing that result.
Definitely. Have to shake that off and just know your putt and putt it. Great putt for par.
And that's going to be a pretty common result. Finding the hazard at the end, but still being able to put in the par. This is not the bogey putt that you want to be staring down for R2.
Just maybe not feeling his putt.
Yeah, just
off the get-go on hole one.
It's our first time being able to see him on coverage so far here in the tour. So, you know, it's interesting to see the way that he's going to be able to recover from this. Maybe some nerves being on camera. He does have maybe the knee brace, you know, changing his putting stance. His feet are quite close together, using mostly arm. Good comeback there. And sometimes getting that double bogey on hole one, it's frustrating, of course. But it can kind of ignite that fire, make you realize that, hey, you're not on your best game, but it's time to really start pushing.
Yeah.
Very large array of scores. Definitely. On our starting hole.
I mean, you got a par, a birdie, a double bogey, and a bogey.
All the way up. Take us to hole two.
Yeah. Par 3, 289 feet. As you can see, the drone slowly here panning its way around the corner. It's almost a blind shot to this basket that is protected by a gate of trees and also OB. So you can't really go in that long outside. The height is not there. You got to go a flexing forehand, or even a turnover backhand that slowly fades into the green.
Yeah,
and it even lays up to circle's edge.
Yeah, I think circle's edge is really the best result here. So you can see how cut off this is.
Cut roller. Almost hits the OB. That's a good result from what happened initially.
And so many of those discs, if you don't put enough turn on the forehand, or if it's going to fade in front of this gate being out of bounds, you see the stakes on the other side. Lauri disking down to a justice here, the kind of very overstable mid-range speed.
And he knows it out of his hand. That's too early. Didn't get enough on it.
He's going to have a weird putt coming back as well. He's probably still going to be blocked by the gate. More of a wall.
Yeah, definitely more of a wall. either going over the top or just having to split one of those trees.
Luukas going with an even slower disc in the A3. You hear that thing whistle on the way out of his hand. Slow down. Yeah, looking to be circle's edge at best.
Which is surprising. I mean, you'd think you would just throw a flex forehand with a very overstable disc. But, I mean, we're not in person there. So
Yeah,
we don't know
of
how
course.
it actually really looks because camera is deceiving.
And this weird,
Skipping.
yeah, that's
oh
a
my gosh.
kind of straight skip, but rolled a little bit.
Luckily, he's going to go back to a flat ground area.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was interesting to not see more of an overstable disc be played here and, use that flex forehand into the advantage that it gives. Sit. Yeah.
Yeah, and from that distance, just trying to put it close. Going to be picking up another stroke over par for Arttu. But, yeah, this is just an odd step out. Avoiding that wall of trees. Yeah, just really
That's all
no
you can
way
do
to
from there.
attack. Let's go to Luukas, definitely with a position to attack.
Just short, hitting the basket. Had the right speed, but not the right height.
Yeah, I mean, he was, after hole one, a lot longer of a putt, being able to hit chain height, so was already feeling it. Let's got to sit down. Okay, it does stop there, but just a little bit off there for Samuel. A hole, I don't think I've ever really seen a hole this shape before. Good correction on the putt there.
His putt is very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of hyzer, a lot of wrist.
Yeah, it's all arms, not really much anything of legs.
Mm-hmm. Could come
Maybe
back
it is
for
because
par.
of his knee.
Yeah, could be. But it's what's working for him, so looking
Keep it
forward to
up.
seeing him put that in from distance with a lot of torque. What did this one come in at?
This one was coming in at 3.2.
Yeah, so just a little bit over par. I mean, at a sub 300-foot hole, very awkward shape, but man.
You'd think you'd see more birdies, but it is difficult with the OB, and you got a lot of trees protecting the green. So let's take us into hole 3, Mitch.
Yeah, par 3, 413 feet. Again, the out-of-bounds stakes surrounding every side of this fairway. We come in slow here. Most of these players are going to be throwing an overstable driver, maybe even a fairway driver to limit that left to right movement. But just trying to control the skip, as this is a very manicured grass. Out of bounds, probably just outside circle 1 on the backside. But like I said, most likely you're just going to be overstable. Really put everything you have into it, and control that angle when it hits the ground.
Ooh. That's playing with OB. It is safe.
You can see him just touching the side of the circle there. Be coming back uphill. And on courses like this, it's good to see the players in front of you, maybe see how that grass is going to react to the skip and try to match that or maybe correct off of it. He's got to fade.
And Luukas knows this is too much. Almost hitting the
chair
flag,
there, yeah.
The flag. Guy's chair, sit down and relax.
Going to be having to try to save par from a similar distance. Here's more the height you're looking for out of Lehtinen.
Gonna be a little short.
No, he's going to skip forward. So
Skip and roll into circle 1. Fantastic.
Great correction after the two players in front of him pushed a little bit long. That wind kind of picking up. Trying to keep that hand warm, blowing on the disc, blowing on the hand. Find that grip. A little more of an inside flip-up angle.
Yeah, better angle towards the basket, straight line at the basket, and just sitting up there.
Yeah, it's a great correction, you know, as that wind was kind of picking up, realizing he didn't need to put as much height on it, seeing the rest of his card mates push a little far. It's really, really great shot there from R2 with his first look for a birdie.
And Luukas there just out of range. Trying to put it close.
Circle's edge here for Hänninen.
Great putt.
Really confident stroke. He's been so consistent with the putter over these 3 stops, and as we move into this 4th one, I mean, you got to expect it to continue.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you got 2 birdies on the front. I mean, this course is playing a little bit easier, being more open, but you get that putter hot, you can see some high numbers today.
Low numbers.
Yes, you know what I mean.
But I mean, at the same time, high numbers are here as well. I mean, with it being more of a technical, you know, ball golf kind of property, they use it really well. There are a lot of holes under that 350-foot mark that get really technical, especially on the back 9.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are going in between the woods, coming out of the woods.
Yep, par 4s that are starting with a gap and then opening up. Really good use of it here.
Let's go to hole 4, par 3, 390 feet, over OB and straight uphill. This is a placement shot at best. Trying to get on top where this, you can see the guy on the drone is around in this area, maybe push a little bit further. The drone's going to show a tee place, the basket placement down below, but it's going to be up top here on this mound that is straight ahead, that is to your left right now. Still a little bit out of reach on a first shot. It's a tough Anheuser flex.
Yeah, with the height you're trying to travel, I mean, this has got to be playing well over 400 feet, 425 feet or so. I mean, you can see on the drone flight there the steps. And
yes.
I mean, you can't even traverse it.
A lot of steps.
Look at the height you're having to attack here.
It's a little bit too straight.
Yeah, catching a limb. But I mean, this is around the area you're going to see most of these drives land. I mean, and then the difficulty becomes, you know, where do you want to approach this basket? And you're going to have a death putt no matter where you're at.
I think you just aim it at that mound and try to stick it.
The mistake here on the drive is going to be able to push it too low or too straight and hit those trees. And we've seen disc fall all the way down the hill. Great kick. R2 coming off the birdie, looking to continue the momentum.
Taking more of the inside route.
A lot more height.
This looks great. And that's as best as you're going to get, really, from that distance. It's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, but what are you really gaining, you know? I mean, it's still going to be a layup
really
trying
much.
to put it close. There's no way you're going to run that.
No.
I mean, maybe.
A softer approach.
Right. You can hear the squeakiness of those shoes on the tee pad. Really good flex and just matching that to get that forward skip. But all of our players in a similar distance here. Interested to see how they're going to try to put it close, probably a couple different ways, a couple different angles. All of them in this probably maybe 100, 120 foot mark.
I was about to mention that. Just the jump putt, put it into the hill.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably your best bet instead of throwing something skippy.
Yep. And even with the jump putt, I mean,
still scary.
For sure. You can see him, you know, kick up and roll. So a little more of a spin here. Yeah, to run this, I feel like you have to be, I mean, the closest shot of the group, still just laying it up. I mean, you've got to be well inside the circle to run this.
I say within 15 feet.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more outside of that, but to get to that range, to get inside 25, 30 feet.
It's a mash.
Yeah. You can see the water droplets there hanging from the basket. Some of our players still wearing the rain jackets. Those tee pads squeak in. I mean, the conditions here are definitely a little bit more slippery.
It's those summer rains.
Mm-hmm. Gonna be pars for our group here. Pretty consistent this hole, probably playing right at par.
3.25.
Yeah, maybe some people just catching a little late, a little bit of a roll away. As we move into hole 5, par 3, 446 feet. Player's going to be going to a full driver here, out of bounds left and right, just shaping this fairway to be a lot more difficult than meets the eye, and kind of working right. To get this distance kind of a little bit uphill, you're really going to need to go to a max distance driver, but being with the out of bounds there on the left, just on the circle's edge, really going to make sure you don't have too much fade. So maybe some of our players here are splitting this hole up, knowing that par is a really good score. Trying to go max distance forehand. Hänninen needs to kick back.
Unfortunate from Samuel. Almost pin high though.
Yeah, it's a serious forehand distance, but I
think we put in from there for his par.
Yeah. Lauri kind of disking down just a little bit, maybe to a control driver, it looks like. Late turn.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, just
a little bit more height maybe, and it would have gotten to the basket.
Yeah. And R2 going with a mid-range here. I believe this is a Discmania method. Really trying to split this one up, it looks like.
Throwing a little bit too much hyzer.
Yeah, it kind of nose up
to get
as well.
Down. That one, another out of bounds.
You got to expect Luukas going for the pin here. Really a master of this late turning full driver shot.
He's going with a hybrid disc here. This needs to get...
It fades. It does stay in bounds, yeah.
Wow.
Kind of matching Lauri's line, but just a little bit more height. If that fades out there, I mean, he's definitely well inside the circle. Similar distance here for Hänninen. Mid circle 2, going to the straddle. That wind.
Thought he had enough drop on it.
Yeah, kind of that left to right tailwind coming over his shoulder, just pushing it down. And Leighton actually getting into the circle.
Great putt.
Such a good birdie on one of the longest par 3s on the course.
Yeah, you can see him talking about the wind pushing it down real quick.
You can hear that wind ripping, and I believe there's an airport pretty close to here too. You saw on some of the drone flights earlier, a large tower. So definitely just trying to keep that focus. It's definitely not, it's not an easy task on this kind of course.
No.
It's peaceful, but also just some unexpected noises.
A lot of crowd being around. people from the other cards.
Yeah, voices carrying.
And even you can hear the jet there in the background. So we go into hole 6, par 3, 364 feet. Got to get through this gap right here and lay it up onto where this little pedestal where you would normally tee off and ball golf, and what a roll off the back end.
Yeah, if you're going long at all,
want to avoid that.
Whew. If you're going long, you're definitely rolling all the way into the out of bounds. We've seen some rollaways already on this course.
Soft mid-ranges or a putter on this hole is going to be the right one.
Yeah, and gaps like this off the tee, they're kind of that offset distance. Get through miss the first one, maybe not make the next one, but the height, the biggest thing here.
Just a little bit short. And that's going to be a scary putt.
Yeah, he's well into circle 2, maybe circle 2 edge. This looks to be a putter from Rokkanen.
Get left a little bit, just on the edge.
Yeah, similar distance to Lehtinen. See if Hänninen can correct, get a little bit more height.
I think the scary part about if you throw more of a hyzer is coming in on that angle and then it kicking up and rolling.
Yeah.
But if you do what Hänninen
Perfect.
just did, I mean, that lays up just soft.
Yeah, he throws more of a stall shot, kind of maybe a touch more understable, putting it on a lot more hyzer, letting it stand up and just glide forwards instead of having to power down on an overstable disc.
This looks good if you can get down.
A lot of speed behind it.
And it goes OB long.
Yep.
That's the tough part is the distance, looking at off the tee, and then controlling your power to not push past it.
Yeah, at this 360-foot mark, I feel
you almost want to throw at the ground.
Yeah.
Not really, but like throw even plane with the basket.
Right, and
I
just
know it is
letting
downhill.
it slide up. And you see, I mean, here it's just not even worth running it.
Yeah, you can see Lauri just lay it up there because that death putt behind there.
Yeah, let's see how he's going to attack Rokkanen from a similar distance, but being able to be eye level.
Almost the right height. And you can see it on his face. He almost had it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a scary putt to run. I mean, you can, looking right where he's at, I mean, it is a true...
Look at this putt down here.
Yeah, this is your comebacker if you run it and you don't put enough on it.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't want to be, from out of bounds, but this is definitely an easier putt to run.
Gotta get the height right. And he does. Saves his par. What an incredible putt from down there.
Definitely one of the best par putts we've seen so far. Hänninen with a look for birdie.
Great solid putt.
Yeah, he's got that, I mean, just no mess around, dead center push right into the change with a hard spin putt. And that's what these Prodigy baskets want to see. Never going to have a spit through. The only real problem would be if it kicked back at you, but he's really good at changing that speed when he's closer. So we jump into hole 7, par 3, 253 feet. Very technical, short hole. Being under, the 300-foot mark, but out of bounds coming into play always on this course. Speed control is going to be very important as the out of bounds is just outside the circle, long, left, and right.
You can see the basket straight in front of you, just trying to put a putter with the same grade. And that's going to end up just outside circle 1. It's such a tough putt being a little bit to the right off the tee pad.
Yeah, This is more of the play if you want to get closer.
T-pad is pushed a little bit to the right.
Right.
So it makes you want to play that. You see
Immediately
Lauri
asking it for it to get down. Perfect.
That's great.
Forehand here with the putter, with that approach disc, that, deeper rim, really not going to get a lot of skip, going to have more of a slide. It's a really good disc selection, but, at the backhand, obviously, you're really not going to get a skip whatsoever. No. But if you turn it too much, it can kind of take that glide and continue down. I believe going PA1 here.
And that's the hard part, is getting the height to get it all the way down. You want it to be soft, so you throw it a little low and maybe get a little stutter up again, up to the basket.
And this is the other approach here, being able to just throw more of a spike and waiting for that curl.
What is this curl?
The curl's perfection, all planned by Arttu Räsänen. Perfect shot there. Totally different way to approach it.
This is a tough putt.
Circle's Edge, his putter has been really hot so far. Continues with a birdie from deep.
Getting hot.
Jump to the Koti Pizza slow-mo. Death putt. Comes to that left hip. Full hyzer. Corner pocket. Samuel Hänninen is feeling the putter here in round one. Even looking back at the camera saying, "Woo, that stuck. Thank you." The rest of our players here with a birdie look from inside the circle.
Another great putt here. I mean, this is one you definitely want to get and put another stroke on your card.
Yeah, as we reach, we're starting that middle third of the round, and as we get into the last third, there is a lot of these, sub 300 foot, very technical.
I think it's the most we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Definitely in that range, but you'll see we're going to get into the woods here soon. And Lauri just taking his time. Excited to see how the gallery is going to continue to build. I mean, this is round one, and you already have the claps, and just the environment is phenomenal here.
I mean, look at the course. Who wouldn't want to be there?
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. Take us to hole 8.
Hole 8, par 3, 302 feet. Coming off the tee. Left, and it just continues going left.
Yeah, full horseshoe.
And again, you don't want to be on the backside of this basket at all. You're going to roll so far down. And you just want to lay out with something soft. Throw in an approach disc. Putter, just trying to put it onto the green.
Yeah, and absolutely blind off the tee. And it's a pretty high, spiky shot.
You
gotta
pick
control
your angle and just commit to it.
This is a shot where disc knowledge is everything, knowing that muscle memory of how far I can push this before it fades.
It just needs to sit. Oh yeah.
Stays in bounds, have a similar putt. Opposite, obviously, he was not going down, but he'll be putting upwards. But I mean, he's 3 under, tied for second right now. Hänninen is getting hot. A little bit closer there for Lauri. It's kind of one, you see one person throw it, and you all are kind of envisioning yourself throwing that same line. And as you predicted, Hayden, going to the approach speed disc. I believe this is a A3 that Luukas likes to lean on.
Give it a little bit more height, and I believe he just hit off the bottom there.
Yeah, it did look like he did. Couldn't get it too much noise off of it, but a phenomenal shot there from Rokkanen, just putting it so close. Way higher than the rest of the group.
Needs to sit. I don't know where it went off that backside. Hopefully it curled back up.
No out of bounds graphic there for us. It had a lot of speed on it.
Just a little bit downhill, not too much.
See that wind kind of right to left head when he's going to have to deal with. He does stay in bounds, catches this brush. And this is where his style putt, where his feet are very close together, can come in handy. Curls back, but just misses high right. Let's see if Samuel can continue this putting streak just from the circle's edge.
Good thing that thing sat down. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, had a lot of speed catching that change, slowing it down. Really his first miss from, within about 45.
Yeah. And Lauri for birdie. Routine putt for him.
Yeah.
You could see the way he was approaching that one.
Yep. You see the camaraderie, just realizing they're battling, they're tying it up. The routine comebacker here for Arttu. Similar distance for Hänninen to get the par. And we'll finally let Luukas putt.
Yeah, this was a great shot. Able to sit after hitting the bottom of the basket. Great birdie. He's back to even on the round.
Yeah, it's got to feel good, kind of having more of a fresh slate. Definitely not the front nine he was expecting, but realizing he's now able to attack, getting himself back towards it. Let's move into the final hole in the front nine, par 3, 348 feet. Gonna have a Mando making you go through this gap and immediately needing to turn right. Most of our right-handed players going to go to a forehand here, try to maybe short and just skip up, control that speed again, out of bounds, inside the circle, all around the back. And it is interesting with a property of this size, of this kind of undulation and, up to down. It really is, these par 3s that are not very long, but using the wooded, edges of this golf course is turning it into a beautiful piece of property for disc golf.
Yeah, it may be a short par 3, but you got to be technical with your shots. And Lauri just going long on the back end.
Yeah, just never having a chance to really stay in. He's going to go pretty far back as we see Luukas disc down to the A3 here. A little bit of a flex shot. Not a lot of glide on really any of the discs in this category from Prodigy in the A series. Something that you can just kind of put out there and it's going to fade hard.
Almost catching the tree. This has got to get down.
Curling back.
I think just
inches.
Just barely.
Really good disc selection there to kind of limit that distance and opposite end of the spectrum here.
He will have a look
for the
par.
driver. Yeah. Probably more of a high approach, yeah.
Just got to dig into the ground.
Yeah, never had a chance. Interesting to see the two of our players, go to an approach disc and then go to a full driver speed. You see, the disc is still rolling.
It's just going to go to the next hole.
Go to the bottom of the entire golf course.
And taking an early tree is Arttu.
But our only player inbounds off the tee.
That is very true.
Hitting the only tree, but you got to take the positives where you can find them.
Yeah. Two of our players have a look at par.
True. Yeah, that circle's edge putt.
And this is still scary for him.
Mm-hmm. Still got a lot of, oh my gosh.
Low ceiling.
Flex forehand, trying to just limit that skip. What a shape.
Just a little short, but, to get out that far.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a distance he's practiced and stood there and go, if I hit this last tree, this is where I'll be. But
yeah, I totally practiced that.
Yeah, Lehtinen just laying it up. There's just really no reason to be running
Take the bogey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mistake here, if you're going to go out of bounds, is going to be long. Puts you right on that circle's edge.
Good putt for par from Luukas.
Staying even on the front 9. A lot of work to do on the back 9, but definitely a lot of holes under that 300-foot mark where you can pick up a lot of birdies.
Wow.
Catching. That's where putting with that so much hyzer, almost perpendicular to the ground, can come in handy. I mean, that would have not stayed in had it have any less hyzer angle on it.
Dove into that basket.
Yep.
Another good par from Samuel.
Unfortunately, Lauder, you're going to find the only bogey here on 9. But he'll definitely correct, and the next couple rounds, maybe disc down. Make sure he doesn't flip that up too much. Still going to be under par.
Yeah, as we go into the back 9. Going to be interesting. There are a lot of holes, like you said, under that 300 foot, so attack is definitely there to put yourself in a good lead for the first round, but we'll see how these players end up. And looking at our card, got Luukas at even and Lauri just 1 back from Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel definitely setting the pace here on the card. Let's check in with the leaderboard. Setting the pace, Tuomas Hutiainen.
And Niklas.
Yeah, -5. Another familiar name here is Elias. I mean, such a great front 9.
I expect big numbers on the back, and then for a total, I mean, you're probably looking at
probably double digits.
Double digits,
yeah,
for sure.
-10, -11.
I mean, if they put 5 up on the first, I'd have no doubt they can put it on the back.
Yeah, and these 9s couldn't be more different, so we're excited to see how the rest of this round plays out. Be sure to like and subscribe here at Gatekeeper Media and follow us on Instagram at Parked Podcast. My name is Mitch Phillips.
And I'm Hayden Riccard.
And we'll see you for the back 9 here, round 1 in Kuopio.